Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back. I hope you're having a positive and productive day so far. My name is Kel with the Planner Aisle, and today is a quick video showing you some of the ways that I store my inserts and the tools that I use to do so. Before we hop in, I want to give a shout out to Felicia for suggesting this video. If you have any topics that you want to learn more about or anything that you'd like for me to cover, make sure to let me know down below. For all of you who have requested videos, I promise you I am getting to all of them, so thank you so much for your patience. As always, I will be including links to the products I use down below, and let me know if you have any questions. Without further ado, let's hop in. So there's a few methods that I use to store inserts depending on how I intend to use them and how frequently I use them. So because I have so many, I do this by categorizing mine. How many categories that you have, or even if you need them at all, will of course depend on the number of inserts that you have. For me, I separate mine by those that are currently in my rotation, refills, functional in use, functional not in use, selective and seasonal, and then those that I have no plans of using. So starting with the inserts in my rotation, right now I just have the remaining months of my Infinite Lotus Weeklies. Since those are the ones that I change out as I go along, I keep them in this folder by cloth and paper on my shelf here so they're easily accessible. I do like leaving prior months in my planner, but once it gets too stuffed, or if I need to plan further ahead, I'll move the completed weeks in here. Then at the end of the year, I take my stack and I move it to storage. The second category is for refills, and these are inserts like notes and blank grid spreads that I use frequently or that I tend to run through a lot. I also include inserts like dailies, meeting logs, and others that I use depending on what's happening at work. These I like to keep in this clear A5 cover from cloth and paper, and similar to the first category, this also stays on my desk so it's easily accessible. Before I move on, because I use these frequently or have plans to do so, these two are the only types of inserts that I physically keep at my desk. Anything that you're grabbing for a lot or have plans to needs to be in a place that's visible. That way it's always in your sight line and it doesn't fall prey to out of sight, out of mind. The remaining categories I keep labeled in my storage cabinet, which I'll get to in just a second. So third are my functional inserts that I'm either planning on using periodically, or those that I could potentially use in the future. So these are things like other weekly or monthly layouts that I may want to try, project management inserts, different activity logs and habit trackers, basically any inserts that I might use in my main agenda this year. I keep these in this clear matte plastic binder. I absolutely love these. They're like $5 on Amazon and can surprisingly hold a pretty good amount of paper. It also comes with a drawstring to keep everything held in nice and tight. The spine on these are squared so they fit really nicely on a shelf, and I just use my label maker to label the outside so I can easily find what I'm looking for. Because the hardware on this is silver, this is also a good place to use that silver washi tape that came in a cloth and paper sub box a few months ago, which is what I've done here. On the inside, I always type a quick cover and table of contents since sometimes I can have a lot of different types of inserts in these. Personally, I like to laminate mine. That way I don't have to reprint my covers each time I'm adding or removing inserts. I can just erase and rewrite whatever I need to. I also use these little sticky note tabs to mark subsections as well, just to help save time when I'm flipping through or searching for something specific. The next category are the inserts that are functional but that I'm not using at the moment and would only pull from if my planner routine changes. So these are where a lot of the inserts that I get in my cloth and paper sub box fall. I used to have a lot more in here, but I ended up repurposing a lot of these and gifting several as well. Somewhat similar is the next category, which are selective and seasonal inserts, and these are those that have more of a dedicated purpose or those that are used around specific times of the year. So these are things like goal tracking, wellness inserts, plant trackers, self-reflection inserts, and others that I would typically only use if I have a specific need for them. The last category are the inserts that I have no plans of using at all, and these are pretty much the only ones that I keep in the plastic that it comes in. I don't have too many in this category right now. I did end up giving a lot of these away at the beginning of the year, but aside from doing demos, I keep them in the plastic so they don't get damaged. So all of my inserts in these little binders, including the ones that I don't use, I keep in these acrylic file holders. I think these are from Office Depot, and these live in my storage cabinet. So this is on the opposite side of my office from my desk, but since I don't use these as often, I like to keep them separate so my actual workspace can stay as neat as possible. This room is my office / studio / workout room, so it can get really cramped pretty quickly. So it's really important for me to only have the essentials at my desk to keep my space and my head free of clutter. If you do choose to separate your storage, it's a really good idea to use labels or another method to recognize what you're looking at so you can easily find what you need. One year, I ended up throwing all of my inserts in a box stacked on top of each other and completely forgot which ones that I had. So use your label maker, pens, markers, stickies, or whatever you'd like to use to make sure that you don't forget what products you actually have. I am filming a full office tour video soon, so if you're interested in seeing that, please consider subscribing so you don't miss out. I moved to a new place a few months ago, so I'm a little bit behind, but I plan to have that video up by the end of next month. I did get a couple of questions on what I do with used inserts. Anything that's dated, I put in a yearly storage box for reference or for memory keeping purposes. I just use boxes from past orders that I've placed and I throw a label on them. For undated inserts, it really just depends. If it's like random notes or something that doesn't have much value, then I'll normally just throw them away. If I'm working on a project or something and I may want to pull from it in a later year, or maybe it's wellness or budget inserts that I could use to look back on or pull data from, then I'll store those along with my dated inserts. Once they've been archived, I'll just throw them at the top of my closet. One last thing to note is I do create my own inserts. Those are available as freebies in my resource library if you're interested. I do keep printouts of everything in this linen binder. I like to play around with the sizes and make notes and things, so I keep all of that in here. Right now, I'm adding new sizes and designs to the library, so it's kind of a mess in here right now, but I do plan to film a reel on how I use this for my purposes, as well as my other home binder that's more for around the house projects. Lastly, I also have this black agenda that you see in my soapbox review videos quite a bit. I do have inserts in here, but these are only used as samples or practice inserts and basically serve as test sheets for me if I'm trying to size something or test a color or other things like that. Some other ways you can store inserts is in your drawers or file folder systems. If you have old planners or binders, those tend to work well because it's easy to keep everything organized. You can always keep them in boxes. Just be careful that if you do choose to use the box or bin system, that you use a color coding system or a labeling system or something else to help keep everything nice and organized. So that's a quick-ish overview of my insert storage system for now. I'm still getting used to my new space, so some things may change, but at the moment, this works for me. My inserts aren't getting lost, and most importantly, I can find exactly what I need when I need it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did and you want to see more planning and organizational content, please hit that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram for more planner tips and inspo. Sending positive vibes your way. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of your day.